on a random cold Sunday night. I was in the mood for playing a game. It was cozy, it was raining outside, you know, it got the whole gamer moment feeling. You know, the vibes, like the one you would wear a shirt for, like those Redditors, I post my game to be here type shirt, you know, that type of deal. But I was looking for a game that was pretty relaxing, but also intense in the story, so I could take my mind off the dangers of society. So I grabbed my old copy of Watch Dogs and I started playing it and was beating each single segment of the game from left to right and right to left, like the dumb man-child I am. Bro, I was literally him. I was hacking left to right, acting all gangsta as hell. I was doxing people. I was like the little 12-year-old annoying kid in the Meagle call. Suddenly while playing, I got hit with a flashbang that compelled me from my head all the way to the tips of my toesies. Time started moving slower and it seemed the world just stopped and I had an anime flashback. The type of flashback similar to the dude from Ratatouille. I thought, man, this was such a good game. How can it fall so short? And man, how much fun and excitement this game gave me when it first came out. Then I realized something. Am I feeling nostalgic for Watch Dogs? When I think of retro gaming or just retro games, I don't think of Watch Dogs. It's a high definition game with an amazing open world. And honestly, it's pretty cinematic. Even though while I'm recording this, I just searched it up. It's 10 years old by now. But is 10 years really enough to label a game as retro? To be fair, the Wii is pretty old. It's an old console, but it did have the Virtual Console installment to play old NES games and SNES games on it. But it also had N64 games, which when the Wii first came out, the N64 itself was only 10 years old at the time. Super Mario 64 was an amazing game that everybody loved so much when it basically was a launch game just for the N64 and also for the Nintendo Wii. Most people even back then in the 2006 with their super skinny jeans and crackhead backyardigans type dealer flip phones or whatever the fuck they had back then, thought Super Mario 64 was a retro game, even though the game was only 10 years old. The staple console right now with Nintendo, which is the Nintendo Switch, has all ported games from the Wii U, which is also 10 years old. Feature games like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. I never played that shit, I'm gonna be honest with you. Mario Kart 8. I fucking hate that game when I lose, I swear to God. Stupid fucking 200cc, I swear. Super Mario 3D World. Honestly, this game was a banger.
And I know bangers. I know bangers.
And are my eyes deceiving me? Okay, I guess I can slap that on the list too.
Hey! A man is being fucked over by his local government in Lego City. Build the killdozer, destroy the town hall, get your revenge.
Honestly, Lego City Undercover was low-key a banger fucking Lego game.
And I know bangers. I know bangers.
So is it right to treat games like Watch Dogs as retro now? Because if we go by the 10-year rule, most other games can be labeled or can be considered as retro now. Like Minecraft, League of Legends, Roblox, FNAF, Geometry Dash, and many, and I mean many more games. Even though people wouldn't consider these games retro in the public eye, the games get updated pretty recently, so it's either with the game itself or the topic and news around the game. So that makes many games with the 10-year rule can be labeled as retro. Many games that can be considered retro have tons of remakes. It took 10 years for The Last of Us just to get a remake. The Game Boy generation first Pokemon games got a remake, but on the Game Boy Advance, 8 years after its release, got one. And the one that makes no sense to me is the Game Boy Advance game, Kingdom Hearts Chains of Memories. Fire-ass game, by the way. Got a remake on the PlayStation 2 less than 2 years after its release. So it seems like remakes don't classify a game as retro or not. So the only conclusion I can come up with is why we label games as retro even though remakes aren't needed is just over the first buzzword. And I said in the beginning of the video that the word is nostalgia. Nostalgia is a big factor that we humans like brain rot that takes over our lives, like Gen Alpha watching Subway Surfers in the corner and becoming degenerate iPad kids with Skibbity Toilet, Duke Dennis, and Phantom Tax, and I don't know what these kids say nowadays. Shit, I think I'm getting old. But nostalgia is what gives a game meaning behind everyone's screen. And so the era where we grew up with the games around us is what gave us the pleasure memories that we found in games like Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Fire Emblem, Mario, Pokemon, Sonic. Yeah, Sonic besides the weird ass fan art and other big series. So technically, retro doesn't have a full definition, but can be defined by anyone with any of their standards of what retro means to them. I don't care what anyone says. The Sims is retro to me. I destroyed families on purpose. I created wars. I drowned people. Yes, I'm a sociopath. Also, there was a sex mod when I was 12. And yes, I played.